Right, good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. So we're live now. Good night, we're live. Live, live. All right, good night. Um, Good night to Inja Plummer and of course Kimberly Carr, two of our specially invited guests to speak with us their services. And
Good night.
Yes.
Good night, sir.
Yes, good night. And of course, good night to Kimura again. All right, so we're just waiting until the other students come on. I see that we have uh, one of our other students, and that would be um, Miss Wignall. She's there on the channel. Good night, Miss Wignall. I see that you're there. Good night. Good night, Miss Wignall. Good night.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Yes, good night. And of course, good night. All right, so special good night to Miss Tanisha Wignall. Good night. And good night to any other persons who is watching us live on CDP Live Services. Tonight we'll be going through June past paper. That's the first 5 questions tonight. And of course, hopefully on Tuesday night, we'll pick it up again at 9 p.m. for the second half of the June 2006 past paper. And then, of course, Wednesday, not sure what time we'll be going live, but for this week, we'll be going live for past paper questions of mathematics. And maybe we'll do the same next week for mathematics. But of course, in our normal style, we usually begin our class with devotion. And speaking of devotion, our prayer warrior is on. So we'll begin our class with devotion. To start our classes with devotion, we're going to listen to a nice, lovely gospel song. And it's a popular gospel song. And of course, we need to really give God the glory for his goodness. And so we're going to get straight into our devotional segment of our presentation. And welcome, good night, Nikisha. Thank you for joining us again tonight. And of course, I'm going to ask you to do the honors as usual. But I have a lot to give God thanks for, and I will say that after the prayer. All right? But let us begin our devotion with our musical. So we'll start devotion with our musical now.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. And all my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful,
To your song.
and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You will lead me through the fire, and in darkest night you were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. Yeah. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Oh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. Oh gosh, 'cause all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I have made, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. With every breath, over all my days.
Keisha. Mrs. Boddington, it's your turn. Keisha, are you there?
Good night. To do what, sir?
Huh?
To do what?
Do the honors for us.
To pray?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let us pray. Gracious Father, thank you for today. Thank you for your mercies towards us. Thank you for your grace and your loving kindness. I pray now that as we're about to begin our mass class, that the Holy Spirit be upon us, even as we enter into the last week of our learning. We pray that you will inspire us, that our teacher will continue to do his best, and we will impart the knowledge that he shares with us. Help us to be successful. I pray to you, thanks in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much. As I said, I would have shared, something special happened for me yesterday. Before I read the Bible text, my daughter called me on such Friday night, and we as Seventh Adventists refer to it as Sabbath night. And of course, she told me that she was going to get baptized. She said, "Daddy, I'm going to get baptized." And I was really happy. Tears came to my eyes. I went right ahead and shared it with my other family members, my brothers and my father. And of course, she got baptized on Sabbath morning. Now, why am I so happy about that? Now, this was the same young lady who was, I wouldn't say suffered, but she had the experience of a cancer patient. And she had a stage 4 cancer when she was between the ages of 2 and 3. And when she was in the hospital, just to cut a long story short, I mean, doctors and so forth, they were a bit worried about whether or not she was going to survive. But of course, when you talk to God, and you trust him and you believe in him, he will work wonders in your life. She, as a young child at the time, had expressed to the nurses and doctors that God has healed her. So her faith moved God, and God did indeed heal her. In January 2017, it was not reported that she was in remission. It was reported that there was no more cancer in her blood. And this same young lady who had stage 4 cancer, when she was young, gave her life to God at age 10 yesterday. I was happy about it. She made her own decision. So you see, you might be going through something today, but just remember her situation. She was next to death's door. But when persons pray for you, and you pray for yourself and others, God will respond. Just trust him, believe in him, and have faith, and he will respond. Now, so we'll look at our Bible verse for today. Just going to read one chapter of Proverbs, one verse or one or two verse of Proverbs chapter 3, and then we will and then we will commence our well the class right after we are through reading this text. So of course, let us turn our attention to Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. Here it is on screen. It says, my son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. So if you are in search of prolonged life, peace, and prosperity, the instructions clearly is, my son, my children, my daughter, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart. So just remember that. I leave you with that tonight. And pray that you meditate on those two verses through the rest of the week. And remember it through the rest of your life. All right? So now we're going to kickstart our class now. I just want to say good night to those who just joined us. Miss Evans, you have to read the schedule properly. Go down, all the way down to the last set of dates, and you'll see where the class is. Welcome back, Lexi. You have been missing in action for quite some time. Welcome back to class, and so forth. Okay, so we're going to get to we're going to start off with our first question. But before this, we have announcement first. Just by we have announcement to the CDP Lab students. There is a workbook that was created for you. So assigned to you, especially those who are doing exams this year, that has possible questions in it. So I hope that you would have looked and seen it. If not, please ensure that you complete it between now and tomorrow, that when the next set of questions gets in that workbook, you'll be able to do it as well, which is question 2 type questions. So I'm going through throughout the month of April, as I told you before, I'll be just teaching the class straight off the bat, but you still get your practice from that workbook and still assess your preparation as you go through, because we have to accelerate right now. All right, so the goal is to get more than half this time passing the exam, but hopefully 80 to 90% or 100% pass this time. All right, so let us look at our first question of our June 2016 paper. All right, so you can take your time and try to solve it, but in the essence of time, I'll have to go through it. Now, the examiner says that you're to use your calculator or otherwise calculate. Now, I may not in this session show you how to use a calculator, but in another session, I'll show you how to use it. But it says otherwise, isn't it? All right? It says otherwise. Now, what you're looking at here is 3 and 3/8. Well, you're going to be subtracting 2 1/4 from 3 and 3/8. And I read it like this because, you know, often students do not read math statements correctly. And when you don't read it correctly, you don't understand what is actually saying. So let's practice to read the math statements correctly. Now it is asking you to find the difference between 3 and 3/8 and 2 1/4, 2 1/4. Or you can subtract 2 1/4 from 3 and 3/8. And then after you have done that now, you're going to now find out how many times can 1 1/2 be shared into the difference between those two fractions. Now, an instruction is given that you are supposed to give your answer as a fraction in its lowest terms. So please note that a part of the points given for this part of the question is not only the answer, but how the answer is written, and that is in its lowest term. So you must know then how to reduce fraction. Now I'm going to look at it in two ways, right? Just to give you a concrete understanding, and also to look at it the way that you probably were taught some time ago. Now, let's turn our attention to my manipulative board here. So I'm going to turn our attention to that right now. All right, let's turn our attention to that right now. I'm not sure if you're able to see it yet. Let's bring it up. There you are. Now, so it says that this is 3 whole and 3/8, and we're to subtract 2 1/4 from it. Now, naturally, if you have 3 wholes, then we can simply subtract. I'm going to delete it symbolically, meaning to subtract. So I'm going to minus 1 whole minus another whole. So what I now have, after minusing 2 from 3, I now have 1 3/8. But I did not take away the quarter from the 3 3/8. So I now need to take away the quarter from what is left. Now what is left is 1 whole and 3/8. Now I want you to pay close attention to this very important fact, that this 1 whole can be converted to 8s, right? It can be converted to what? To 8s, right? So this is converted to 8s, good? All right, so we're going to convert it to 8s. There you are. So that 1 whole can be converted to what? 8s. So now we can now say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 8s. So we need to take away a quarter from 11 8s. But here it is now. A quarter has a different denominator than 8s. So how do we do this now? Now you're told that you must, for you to be able to do that, you must have a like denominators. It cannot be unlike for you to do the subtraction. It has to be like. So what we have to do then now is see if we can convert quarters into 8s. Let's see how that is done. So here we have our quarters here. So we have quarters. So to find out now how many 8s is equivalent to quarters. And that's why in school your teacher would have taught you about the concept of equivalent fractions, because what we really use is equivalent fractions, right? So therefore now, how many 8s is equivalent to 1/4? Let's find that out. So as you can see, that 2 8s is equivalent to what? 1/4. So now that we know that 2 8s is equivalent to 1/4, then we can subtract now 2 8s now from what is left. So now we have totally subtracted 2 1/4 from 3 3/8. And what we have left is 1, 2, well, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 whole and 1/8. So 1 1/8 is what we have left. Good? Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to
Yes,
everyone?
sir.
Okay. All right. I sincerely hope so. All right. So that is just a demonstration for you to see that it's the concrete idea behind what is written on the in the question. A lot of times students have an issue when they see the question, they tend to get nervous, tend to get anxious, but try to make the question real to you. And I'll be repeating myself throughout these questions as we go along into the deeper waters of this past paper here, that once you try to make the question real to yourself, it makes you less anxious, less nervous, and more confident. All right. So let us get back now to the past paper itself. All right, so we have used the fraction bars to see that the answer is 1 and 1/8. All right, so now we're going to go back there now. Good night again to those persons on our YouTube channel. For you to participate, you're free to participate. You're free to say a comment in our in the chat area. I will see it and I will acknowledge you, but ensure that you subscribe, because you can only participate if you subscribe. So if you have not yet subscribed, take the 5 minutes and subscribe and participate. All right, so let us do it the way that you know it, right? Let's look at it that way. Now, so we're saying that 3 and 3/8. Now, 3, as I showed you before, we can convert that to 8s. So therefore, 1 whole is 8/8. Another whole is another 8/8. Another whole is another 8/8 plus the 3/8. So 8 plus 8 plus 8, that's 3/8 what? 24 plus 3 is 27/8. So this is equal to 27/8. Good. Now, of course, you would have probably learned that you could simply multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then the product that you get, you add 3 to it. So 3/8 24 plus 3 is 27. That's the shortest route to it, right? Now, of course, we want to subtract 2 1/4 from it. Now, we agree that everything has to be what? 8s. So we can turn this 2 whole into what? 8s. And here it is. We can just simply cross it out. That's 1, 2. So took away the 2 wholes. So of course, we are left with again 1 whole and what? 3/8. But guess what? We need to turn the quarters into 8s. And we discovered from the fraction bar that quarters is equivalent to what? 2/8. So let's go. So we have 8s, or 1/8 here. We can subtract the 2/8 from it. Or we could have actually subtracted from the 3/8 if you wish. Good. All right, let's subtract it from the 3/8. See, when you do the fraction this way, it is even more flexible. Good, even more flexible. All right, makes it more flexible for you. It comes with practice, but you still have time to practice. All right, so we're going to take the 2/8 then from the 3/8 right here. And what you're left with is what? 1/8. So you're left with this 8/8 and this 1/8. So your answer then to the top part would be what? 8, or 1 whole then, and 1/8. Good. So the question now is asking now, how many 1.5 can we get out of 1 and 1/8? All right. All right. So you don't need to record anything in the notebooks, no, because of course, you know, you can always go back to the YouTube channel and access the class again, and you'll be able to record what you have missed in your notebooks. So just pay attention to what is the demonstration, and of course, feel free to ask questions if you have any to ask, all right? Okay. Fair enough? Fair enough? Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so now we're going to find out now how many 1.5 is in 1 and 1/8. So let's clear this part of the board now. All right, so now we have 1 and 1/8, and the line now is being drawn 1.5. For those persons who know, and for those persons who do not know, so for the do not know, now you're going to know. For the already know, you're going to be reminded. So this line means to divide. What this line means to divide. So we're going to say, well, it's always best when you're doing division of fractions, it's always best to convert the mixed fraction to an improper fraction. All right. And if you want to find out more about or less, okay, Miss Carr, go ahead. Your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Sir, when you change it to like improper fraction, you know much easier.
Yes, it's much easier when you change the improper fraction. It's
But
much
that way you look confusing.
what you meant what I did with the subtraction?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's just gonna be confusing if you practice it, it becomes less confusing, but because you just seen it, it looks that way. So I do understand that. As I said before, I just want you to have a conceptual understanding. And once you have a conceptual understanding, instead of spending forever on the question in the exam, you go much faster. You understand? That's the reason why I teach it. All right?
Yes.
But your point is taken though. All right. So we want to now move to converting this mixed fraction to an improper fraction. So here it is now, 8 and 8. So of course, 8 eighths plus 1 8 will give us 9 eighths. And then this 9 needs to divide. I'm going to rewrite it like this. This has 2 halves. One whole has 2 halves and a half, making it 3 halves. Good. Now, in this case, we're going to divide. For some maths teachers, they will say that you're going to keep this side. That's taken away.
You go flip it.
You're going to keep it, yes. You're going to change the division sign to multiplication. And there's a natural reason for doing that. And in another session, I'll teach you that as well. We're going to flip or invert this one. Now, some persons they say cancel. But really the fact of the matter is the correct thing is to multiply across and then you reduce your fraction. All right? Now, but if whichever way you're more comfortable with, that's the way that you're supposed to work with when it comes down to exam conditions. All right? Now, from my students where I teach, Holy Trinity High School, I allow them to come up with their own method. And it was interesting that the boys that I teach in the 4th form class, they actually cross multiply. Good. They cross multiply and have 9 twos 18. Yes, they do that. And they say 8 threes 24. They do that. They don't bother the change sign idea. But it would end up being the same thing. 9 twos 18 at the top, 8 threes 24. But because they developed that method on their own, I allow them to do it that way, because at the end of the day, you're going to arrive at the same point. And of course, that is what they will remember throughout their lives. So I allow them to do that, right? So, but now we need to reduce 18 to 24. Now, when you're going to reduce the fraction, you have to find the highest common factor. And that's another lesson, right? So to find the highest common factor, you'd have to know how to factorize these numbers. But the highest common factor of 18 and 24, does anyone want to tell me? What's the highest common factor? Give you a chance to participate. Anyone? What's the highest common factor of 18 and 24?
9.
I didn't hear that. What was that one?
9 with the 18.
9, but remember, it says come on. That means it must be able to go into 24 as well.
Oh, 2.
You sure you want to use 2?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
So the question is, what is the highest common factor of 18 and 24?
So why you always choose the hardest graded?
How much is it? 8.
How much, sir?
What's the highest
What are
common
the
factor of 18 and 24?
Oh, 18. 6.
How much? Hmm,
6.
6. That's correct. So 6 into 8 goes 3 times, and 6 into 24 goes 4 times. Therefore, your answer would be 3/4. So the answer to the first part is 3/4. That's the answer. 3/4. So your final answer there is 3/4, right? 3/4. All right. So let me write that properly. It's 3/4. That's the final answer. All right. So now we're going to move on now from here to the other part of our question. Now, this one says 2.86 plus 0.75 plus 0.481 square, giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So here they are testing your knowledge of some mathematical rules where you're being asked to work what's in brackets first. Right. So let's work what's in bracket first. Right. So let's go ahead and do that. So that is 2.86 plus. Okay, I see Makeda is on our YouTube channel. Yes, you're correct, Makeda. 6 is the highest common factor. Plus 0.75. And the answer you get is 3.61. So you get 3.61 here. Good. Then now we're asked to divide that by 0.481 square.
Sir, it's odd. Odd.
It's add.
Yeah.
All right, let me check the paper to ensure, because it might be a bit blurred right there. I think it is add. Let me check it back. Let me check it back first to ensure that it's add and not division. I believe it's division though, but let me check it out. Let me confirm that quickly. It's June 2016, paper 2. This looks like
So, which,
paper
so
2,
what year paper is it?
June 2016. Oh, it's actually added. You're correct. All right, so it's actually add where I'm supposed to add it. Okay, that's correct. All right, so we're gonna add it then. So add that to the square of 0.481. All right, so we'll add that to the square of 0.481. We'll square that.
3.841.
What are you saying? That's the final answer? Or you
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it. Let's check it that is correct. All right, so we're going to be added. So 3 points. So this is going to be equal to 3.61
3.84. What?
plus 0.231361. So we're going to add that. So 3.61 plus 0.231,361. And
3.814.
Okay, so it says 2 decimal places. So the answer is, it says 2 decimal places. So the answer has to be 3.84.
Sir, sir,
Yeah.
the answer is still right.
What was your answer?
Sir,
Yes, go
you
ahead.
just
The
run it
answer was
off.
3.841.
No, the answer cannot be 3.841.
But it's still right.
No, it can't be right because they told you to give your answer correct 2 decimal places, so it cannot be right.
All right, 3.84.
84. That's correct. No.
Sir, you could just run it off and we do the exponent.
Oh, you mean from here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, you could have done that here.
You don't get the same thing.
You'd have got the same thing. You sure?
Yes, sir. That's what I did. My
That's
same
correct.
thing we did.
Yeah, that's correct, Lexi. You could have done it that way. That's correct. We'll just run it off and have a 0.23, and you add that 0.23 to 3.61, you end up with 3.84. That's correct. Very good observation as well. All right, so let's move on now to the next part of the question. All right, I'm seeing, I didn't see the response in the chat. My apologies. All right. And thanks for the comments, for the devotion there, Kimberly. The child shall lead the way, indeed. All right. So the next part of the question here, part B of the question, I know we're going into consumer arithmetic now. So you see why I'm using this strategy? Because we're moving into different units in the syllabus. So it says that Paul bought and sold a computer. He wrote his business activity as follows. So he bought and sold a computer. So, you know, buy a computer, you have a computer in front of you, some of you, if not all, and the cost of his computer, I wish I had a computer, this must be American dollars, this could never be Jamaican dollars, $1,064, that's the cost price. The mark price for the computer is $1,399. And discount on mark price is 5% if paid by cash. Now they're asking us now to calculate the selling price. And in this case, it was bought by cash. You have to understand the selling price, and they put in brackets to suggest to you that it was bought by cash. Now, if you note, the exam tell you exactly what to do. It says discount and mark price. Where's the mark price? Right here. $1,399. Now, so you have to now find 5% of that. So what is 5% of it? So you write it down like this. Some persons sometimes they don't know how to set it out. So 1,399 over 1, or let's put the whole number over 1, times 5%, which means 5 over 100.
6,995.
That was quick. There's 1,399 times 5 divided by 100. So yes, when you multiply that 5 by that, you get 6,995. But to get the discount amount, you must divide it by 100. Divide that now by 100.
Yeah, I get 69.95.
69.95. Discount amount is 69.95. So when you subtract that now, subtract this amount now from the marked price. So the marked price is 1,399 minus the discount amount 69.95, and then you'll get your answer for it. What do you want to tell us?
1,329.05.
Okay, Everybody got that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the answer is $1,329
Yes, sir.
and 5 cents. Okay, very good. Oh, that's my friend Indra. I will not say anything because we're international tonight, so we'll keep it local. Right, my friend Indra? You know, answer. Mine go viral tonight, you know. Okay.
Sir, no, sir, honest the extra.
What do you mean by that? Me, Indra?
Your bro, nobody that tag. We have a friend that tag. We have a friend that tag.
Exactly.
Oh, she the meet here.
Eh? No, man, she's not an invited guest, no. She's a household resident.
A regular Inja, come on.
Regular tag tuna, sir.
And then some here up there now back.
Yes.
All right, let's go. So it's $1,329.05. That's the correct answer. As I told you before, you don't have to record it in a notebook, no, because you can always go back to the live and you'll see it. All right. But pay attention to what is done. So what would this color did? The exam tell you what to do to get that 2 marks with ease. It says 5% off the mark price. And once you know to find the percentage of something, good to go. All right. So the part 2 now says you should calculate the profit or loss as a percentage of the cash price. As a percentage of the cash price. Now, you have to put, in order to get the profit or loss as a percentage of the cash price, we first have to determine what the profit is or what the loss is. So then, he sold it, I think we made a mistake here. All right. So the selling price, sorry, is 1,300 and what was the answer you got a while ago? Which one was the wrong answer?
Sir, me never write it down.
1,329.05.
Okay, so this is what he sold it for. Good, is what he sold it for. But he bought it for $1,064. So to find the profit, we have to subtract the cost price from the marked price inclusive of the discount, right? So this is the mark price inclusive of the discount. So we're gonna now subtract the cost price from it, which is $1,064.
265.
How much?
265.
265.
Yes, sir. That I'm again.
It make 265 funny.
All right, I like that translation. It make 265 on it. All right, some people prefer to talk the English language, but that's not, but we're okay with that. All right, so $265.05. So that is the profit. Good. That is the profit itself. Good. Make sense? That's the profit. Now, so now we know the profit, but it says as a percentage of the cost price. So the cost price is 1,064. So what you're going to do, this statement is really is saying as a fraction of. So anytime you see the word as a percentage of, it really means as a fraction of. But it's how much out of 100. All right. So 265.05 over the cost price, which is 1,064. Multiply everything by 100 over 1. Clearly, if you multiply 265.05 by 100,
25%.
Wow, that was quick. 25%?
Yeah. When it round off.
When it round off. Oh, okay. But all right, but let's take our time here. So when you multiply 265.05 by 100, you'll get 2,000, you get 26505, right? 26,505. That's correct? That's correct.
Sorry, repeat.
When you multiply 265.05 by 100, you'll get 26,505. Good. And you divide that amount now by 1,064, and therefore your percentage will be 25% when you round it off to the nearest whole number. All right. So some persons, if you write 24.9%, you'll still be correct. And if you write it as 25%, you'll still be correct. So the answer for this can either be 25% or it can be 24.9%. All right. So that is the answer for part B2 of question 1. Let us continue from here and move on to our next question. So for some persons, this is actually a revision because you have known how to do such type of questions. Now we're winding down now to the end of question number 1. Now, can somebody take the opportunity to read what's there for me, please?
Orange juice is sold in cartons of 3 different sizes. So the cartons are 350 milliliters, 450 milliliters, 500 milliliters, and the selling price for the 350 milliliters is $4.20, and the selling price for the 35 cents, and the 500 milliliters is for $5.80. Which size of orange juice is the most cost effective? By justify your answer.
Okay, thank you very much. What exactly do you think they're asking for right here?
Which one is worth your money?
Yes, and what would you use to justify the answer? That decision.
Comparison?
Yeah, but what are you going to be comparing?
Price and the amount.
Okay, all right, let's see, you're about to say something. Go ahead.
The measurements and the price.
Measurements. Okay, anyone
Price.
want?
Sir, me can't find the word. Like, me know the word, but me just can't remember it.
Okay, all right. The word is, it's really per unit, cost per unit, value. So if I find the per unit, in other words, what's the cost? What's the cost for 1 milliliter for each of them? And then you'll see the difference. Good. Now you might be asking now, how are we going to find that? We're going to find the per milliliter. What's the cost per milliliter? Per category of carton size. Now, it's just like ratio and proportion. Let's use it this way. So you have 350. Let's say, what about that? 420. But we want to know then, what's the cost for 1 milliliter? That's really what we're looking at. Good. What's the cost for 1 milliliter? So therefore, you'd have to, if in this case, it cross multiply, right? Ratio and proportion. Yep. So let's call the question mark X. And 1 times $4.20. Now, of course, some persons prefer to write it as $4.20 equals to 350x. But either way, take it, you have to divide both sides by 350. So what is 420 divided by 350? What to come up with it?
0.012.
0.012. So technically that's 1 cent. All right. And if you multiply that by 350, you get back $4.20. You can try it for yourself and see. All right. So you see the setup. So for this, the cost per liter is $0 and approximately 1 cent. All right. Do the same thing for this one. So I have to show you calculations the same way. And then now, after you show your calculations, then you're going to justify your answer. You must mention that the cost per liter. Good? That's what you have to mention. So let's divide now $5.35 by 450. That's approximately around the same amount. 0.012. So both per liter, the second one seems to be more cost effective. You're paying the same amount per liter for the second size. So even though you pay a bit more, a little bit more, but you're still paying the same amount per liter. Everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The $5.80 now divided by 500. Basically the same thing. But what does that mean here? If you're this one here is exactly 0.12, but this one here is 0.0118. This one here is 0.0116. So you probably then have to write out this one and this one some more to get even a better picture. So what I'm saying? Get a better picture. Then you probably can have a more justifiable response. Which of the figures have a smaller value per liter?
Sir, I don't understand the way you are doing.
All right.
Sir, oh, me did learn it. I'm learning. They said 350 divided into 4.20.
So we're gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they get 83.3 ml. And then I said 4.50 divided to 5.50. They get 7.7. Come and get a question the last year.
Yeah, but you can't do it so because look at it. If you set it up using this, right? Let me show you. If you set it up using this, let me undo that. If you set it up using this is 350. It's at $4.20. All right, let me show you something. If you have a dozen banana, right? If you have a dozen banana, A man tell us that 1 dozen banana. Let's look at it. 1 dozen banana. How much are a dozen banana? How much am I selling for? $600?
Call it that.
Right. Now you want to know the cost for one banana. What you done do? Divide the 12 by 600. Certainly
Yes,
not.
sir.
All right, all right. So divide 12 by 600 and tell me what you get. Nobody gonna sell no banana for 2 cents in Jamaica. You crazy? So you have to divide the money by the amount. You understand now? To get the unit value. So that would be more 600 divided by 12. And you know, say one costs $50. So to find the unit value, you have to divide the cost by the total amount present. You understand that now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
But
sir, correct.
I
Yes,
choose,
sir.
sir. But that's something you learned last year.
Well, I did tell you in our class before
Brother, you
you
did
learn the foolishness. All right. I did tell you, don't it? All right. Good. So you see how easy, so easy, me show you so that person who thought that was wrong.
Sir,
So
say back
easy.
over that one day that
what you do a while ago.
All right. 1 dozen banana is for $600. But I only want one. So I'm going to find the unit price for one. The unit price means, when I say unit price, it means how much it is for one single banana. If you got a way where you say divide the dozen by the money, you're going to get 2 cents. And nobody sell banana for 2 cents. But if you divide the money by the amount of banana, 600 divided by 12, you're going to get that one banana is $50. And when you multiply about that $50 by 12, you're going to get back the $600. So that's the
Question. What did you do? I never that you do.
Go ahead, Lexi. What's the question? Lexi, go
Find
ahead.
the correct answer. I never
Sir,
that you
but
did
I
do.
didn't hear what you said. Lexi, what you said? No,
So when we don't find the selling price for the 1 milliliter, I never that you do.
yeah. That's what I did. I multiplied the teacher.
sir,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm here now. Go ahead now.
I understand what Inja say because when you find one of them, all you have to do is just like subtract the divide the 4 point
Mhm.
wait there. Here, me I come back.
All right. So while you're considering that,
See me come back here. All you have to do is just divide the 4.20 with the 350 and you get the answer that she say in the teacher last year.
yeah.
All of-
Oh, but the wrong way that was. So you have to divide the 420 by the 350. You get it now?
So that me say, and you could have get the rest of them.
Yes. Go sit there. The rest of them there. Good.
And you could have did
Different something like that.
Come again. I didn't get that part.
whatever me.
Oh no, man. That was let's see.
Never mind.
Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
So let's justify our response.
Sir, the
Very
last
good discussion. Very good discussion.
Sir, the last one.
The last one.
Yes, the 500 because you get it and the 450 are the same amount and Wait, no? Yeah, at the same amount.
So the last one is more cost effective. I would agree. The smaller the greater the decimal place is, the smaller the value, right? So I would say, so basically I would justify my response and just say, if you go by 4 decimal places technically, the one that it says 580 to 500 milliliter is basically the same value you're paying per unit. So the last one is a little bit the better buy. I agree. Anybody disagree with that? But you have to reason that one.
No, sir.
You don't agree? What's your reason why you don't agree? Let's see.
So I'm gonna say don't agree, and I said no.
Okay, all right, no problem. Okay, so let's now
Sir, the
move
last
on
one
to
costs
the next.
more. Get more.
Yeah, you get more value for your money. Yes. All right, so we are finished with question number 1. We are down into question number 2. And I'm going to ask somebody, ask 2 persons from this class to answer that one. Any of them that answered something wrong with them. And I'm going to call upon
I
Indra
can't wait.
to answer. Yeah, me, I wait. Everybody must try.
I don't like that. I
Um,
don't like that. I don't like that.
Why you don't like it?
Who first don't get the answer? We are talking about Inja.
All right, sorry. My bad.
Kimberly, why you have been so shady? I can't bother with you.
My shitty.
No, man. Sir, can't call my name, sir. I can't bother with that, sir. Sir, she have been so jealous, eh? Talk to
I'm
her.
my
Stop
teacher. I'm my teacher. Leave me alone.
Sir, stop talking to me. I talk to Kimberly. All right.
Let's just see your answer. But that needs to be sorted out. Try again, Lexi.
Oh, I left off something.
Yes. Persons who are watching from the YouTube live channel, as I said before, I see 4 persons watching now, maybe more than are watching, but feel free to put in your responses in the YouTube chat, and I will acknowledge you, of course. You same one I'm looking at.
I'm finishing up.
So yeah, I ask you to give us your response in the chat and we acknowledge you. We're going back to last year where we give away credit to the person who answered the most questions. So enough question tonight from all those on YouTube to get the credit. So if you want to answer enough questions, if you want to participate, then get it. All right.
Sir, YouTube alone.
Yes, only YouTube persons. Still not
Yeah,
correct.
come on. Yeah, come on.
You're already down here. Oh, all right. This algebra question
Sir,
is,
for the first one, I get 2.
yeah. 2
And
what?
for the next one, I get 4.
Yeah, but 2 what?
2a square.
Can be 2a square.
Sir, me. She get it wrong. Me.
Go ahead, Kimberly, go ahead.
4 outside of the bracket, right?
Mhm.
And inside the bracket, you have a square minus 4 close bracket. Drum roll.
I thought you said wrong, sir.
No, that's at the bottom one.
Better me to stick with Indra response.
That's at the bottom one, Kimberly. We see that? Go ahead. Yeah.
Better me
Sir.
stick with Indra response.
But if not that, what is it?
Exactly.
All right, let me go into the teaching part of it now. The other persons in class want to learn too, So let's get into that. Now remember that this expression is defined or described as a difference of 2 squares. For a square, 4 by itself is a squared number, and a square is also a squared number, and the number a squared number. So what you do is that you're going to split the squared number. So
I
4,
want them there. Who get them to me?
the mic, Indra, please.
Oh, see
Like
that?
that. And a times a minus square for 6. The root is 4 times 4. Good. That you have to pay attention to that. You put your brackets them. One has a minus in it, one has a plus.
On a plus, sir.
But bear in mind,
Mute your mind, Inja. Mute your mind.
it doesn't matter where you put the plus or where you put the minus. But just know that one has to have a minus, one has to have a plus. Good. So you put a 2 here, you put a 2 here. You put a A beside the 2, you put a A beside the 2. You take a 4, and you take a 4. So your answer then is, let's use the board, open brackets, 2A minus 4, close bracket, open bracket again, 2A plus 4. So you must ensure that the expression is first a difference of 2 squares. How to know that? Come again, Lexi?
I'm not to get the one there.
All right, I'm going to show you again. All right, so let us look at it then. Let's look at it again. Now, first, this is the answer, right? Let us know that this is the answer that we're going towards, right? Now, how I arrive at that? First, I have to determine the type of expression. I am telling you that the expression is defined as a difference of 2 squares. Why difference? The minus sign. 2 squares, 4 is a squared number, you know. A square means A times A, which is a squared number. A squared number is really a multiple having the same 2 factors. So 4 is a multiple, and the factors is basically finding the square root then. You find the square root of both 4A squared and 16. That's really what you're doing. You're finding the square root of 4A squared and 16. And the square root of 4A squared is 2A. And the square root of 16 is 4. You get that? Get that, Lexi? Lexi, you get that?
Yes, sir.
So step number one,
Yes, sir.
good. So step number 1, you must identify the type of expression. That's the first step. After identifying the type of expression, which is, of course, difference of 2 squares, then it means then your next step now, after you identify that, then now you're going to be applying the methodology to factorize it, which is to find the square roots of them. And the square roots is 2A and 4, but you're going to put them into brackets where minus and plus is. So your first thing you do, you set up your brackets with the minus and the plus, and then you put in the roots then. 2A minus 4, 2A plus 4. That's it. So I showed the 2 different ways you could look at it. All right. Now, while we're at this point, I say this to my students in Holy Trinity, which 2 of them are on. Now, what you must understand, the textbook is vital for practice as well as developing your reasoning skills. So like tonight, no, you buck on this type of question. You need to go to the textbook, volume 2 preferably, where you find factorizing the difference of 2 squares and practice on it. And they say practice makes perfect. So you have to practice on it to ensure that you master it. If you don't master it, you're going to have problems. You don't want to come back in this year exam and you're stuck until you try to memorize. No. None of my students must try to memorize. It's best you practice, reinforce your understanding of it, move on. God will do the rest. No need to memorize. All right. So let's move on to the other question now. This one says 3y squared plus 2y minus 8. All right. Now where to factorize this one. Now, this one is where you would say maybe not that easy, but let's go through it. Let's go through it nevertheless. We're gonna do it. We can do this one. The 3y squared plus 2y minus 8. For those on YouTube, I just type it that way. Now there's a special method. This is what we call factorizing a quadratic expression. Now to factorize a quadratic expression, pay close attention to the steps. Pay close attention to the steps. Step number one. Step number one is simple. You're going to take the coefficient. Now, a quadratic expression has three terms. It has A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Now, you're going to take the coefficient. When we talk about coefficient, it's a numerical value beside the variable. The variable is the letter in the expression. So you're going to take the coefficient of the first variable in the term A and multiply it by the constant in term C. Constant is just a number by itself without a variable. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So 3 times negative 8 will give us
Negative 24.
negative 24. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Sir, read that, Mama say.
Read that. I take the coefficient. This number is a coefficient of term A. Or if you want to call it part A, that's your choice. Good. And multiply it by the constant in part C. So if I were you, I'd just label them A, B, C, quick and fast. And I go into the exam. Again, do not try to memorize. Go and practice. That simply means that Indra and Kimberly not using the book. Right. Don't talk. You know.
Why you call it?
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
no, because I'm not show up on yourself. That's why. I'm calling out.
Narrate that. Narrate that.
Well, I don't rate if you don't follow instruction. You know me. Yeah, Angel.
I mean, it's
That's the face teacher. Everywhere I'm go. All right. So it is to take the coefficient of the first part A, which is 3, right? And you multiply it by the constant in part C. So it's basically A times C. The coefficient in A times the constant in C. So that Indra?
Yes, sir.
Whoa. All right. So now, so it's 3 times negative 8 is going to give us negative 24. Now, the second step now, pay attention to the second step. So I'm pausing a bit. Pay attention to the second step. So for the second step, we're going to multiply. No, you're going to find 2 factors that when added together, it gives us the second coefficient for the B term. Now 3 plus negative 8 cannot give us 2. So it will not be these two factors. So give me another pair of factors when added will give me positive 2, but when multiplied will still give me negative 24. You'll find those.
Sir, repeat that again.
You want to find, listen to the steps, listen carefully. After you've done step 1, heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Step number 2, you're going to find two numbers or two factors. When multiplied will give you negative 24, but when added will give you the coefficient, which is 2 in this case, in part B. Got that?
Yeah.
All right, so find two numbers and multiply, give you negative 24. When you add them, give you positive 2. Everybody try that.
Sir,
Yes.
negative 7 and negative 7 plus, no, 1. Negative 7 plus, no.
Question. 7 times what give you 24 again?
2.
24? Indra?
No,
Indra?
sorry.
All right, I need to hear from the other students. I'm not hearing from Kimora. Kimora is so quiet. Nikisha is so quiet. Miss Evans, I don't know if your mic fix it. It's still so quiet. I've been hearing from Lexi. I've been hearing from Indra. I've been hearing from Kimberly. Need to hear from the others.
6 and negative 4.
Other one go?
6 and negative 4.
That's correct. Positive 6 and negative 4. That's correct. I am also seeing Javon Barrett. Javon Barrett, could you tell me where you're from? I don't think I know Javon Barrett's name. Javon Barrett, could you tell me where you're from? Which country are you from? If it's Jamaica, which parish are you from? If it's Jamaica, which parish and which school are you at? Or if you're an adult. Okay, your mic is not working. I got that, Miss Evans. Okay. So Javon Barrett says it's positive 4 and negative 6. So Javon, could you tell us which parish you're from, Javon? All right. So here we go now. So very good, Kimura. So it's negative, it's actually positive 6, Mr. Barrett, and negative 4. When you multiply these two, right? Let me
Sir, remember, so when I asked Mr. Barrett, which time come from? So
well, I will see it because I'm seeing the YouTube channel as there. All right. So it's positive 6 and negative 4. Good try, Javon. Now, so 6, when you multiply them, you will get negative 24. But when you add them, you will certainly get positive 2. So it's negative 4 plus positive 6 will give us positive 2. So we found our pair of factors. So let's go back one more time over that step. When you're factorizing a quadratic expression that has a coefficient greater than 1, you use this method, right? Now I'm suggesting again to CDP Lab students, those who are watching from YouTube and the Holy Trinity, ensure that when I tell you to go to the textbook where algebra is concerned, if you can get all the algebra marks, then that would be great. I told you, if you get the 3 questions, full marks, you cannot fail this exam. That's the secret. 3 questions, full marks, standard chance of passing it. All right? So let's go back over the steps. You multiply this by this, you get this. You find the factors that when multiply give you back this, but when add together, give you the coefficient of this. Right. So let's rewrite the statement now. So we're going to rewrite the statement using the pair of factors. So we're going to rewrite the statement. So we have 3y squared. Now you're not going to put positive 2y, but this time we're going to put plus 6y minus 4y. Because if you notice, those two, the difference of those two will have given us back positive 2y minus 8. So I've rewrite the expression now. Take a good look at it.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead, Kimberly.
so you substitute it, you take out the 2y and you just substitute it with the 6 minus 4.
Yes, I'd rather to use the word replace it with it, yes.
Okay.
All right. Now, so let's move on. Now, the next step now is to pair them. Put them into pairs. Pair them.
Sir, so the one with the square gonna be A.
What do you mean? What do you
Sir?
mean? What do you mean by that?
Now you go find the common factor, right?
Yes, good.
Uh-huh.
So we're at that point now. We're going to find a common factor. So you're going to factorize both brackets separately. Good. All right. Javon, Bart, you haven't answered me. You know which country are you from? Are you Jamaican or another Caribbean national? All right. So here we go now. So we have 3y squared plus 6y. So the common factor, what's the highest common factor of 3y squared plus 6y? What's the highest?
3y.
3y, that's correct. So you're going to divide both sides by 3y. Like that. What's the next step? What we're going to do with the 3y?
You're gonna cancel out now.
All right. So you're going to have y squared. You're going to have y remaining. And you're going to have what? 2 remaining. And then what are we going to do with the 3y?
You're gonna put it outside of the bracket.
Put it outside the bracket. Well done. Good. Again. All right. So Javon is from Jamaica, Manchester, Jamaica. Welcome to CDP Labs Edu Services, Javon. Tell us where you found where you found our channel, and of course,
I sent him.
Kimberly, you sent him?
Yes.
Javon, is that correct? Do you know Kimberly Carr, Javon? Okay, you tell me yes or no. Okay, well, if that's the case, thank you very much, man. All right, so we have done that part. They want to factorize this other bracket. If there's anybody in the class who doesn't understand, just like all the others stop me, you should also stop me too. All right, so let's go now. So we're going to try to wrap up this session by the latest 10 o'clock, because I know that you guys have to go to school tomorrow. All right, and I have to finish up some work for my students tomorrow, and 6 weeks test might be coming. Well, you guys have that covered already. All right. Oh yeah, focus. Okay. So what's the highest common factor now for negative 4y, negative 8?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. All right. So always remember the trick is, students, then want to see a negative, there's going to be a negative number that's the highest common factor, not the positive one. All right. So they're going to divide both sides by negative 4. And then what you're going to end up having now is y. Negative divided by negative will give you a positive. Negative 8 by negative 4 give you a positive 2. And then we'll put the -4 again on the outside. Now you realize you have 2y plus 2. You have 2y
You're gonna
plus.
put them in the same bracket.
No, you're going to choose one. That's the answer. You're going to choose one of them. So you're going to choose one of the 2y plus 2. And then now you put what is on the outside in a bracket by itself. And then that's it's simple. Argument done. That question is finished with.
Seriously, what I'm saying?
Oh, all right. No problem. All right. Now, so here we go. Just want you to understand that even though I'm teaching you now, you might think you understand, but I want you to understand that the learning really comes when you go to the textbook and try to re-understand it using the examples in the textbook. And when you learn to use the examples in the textbook, what it really does is build your reasonability. That's why I keep pushing persons to use textbooks that will help to build your reasonability. Those persons who watch the videos from CDP as their services, you write down whatever examples that was given, and then you try now to see how these examples will help you to do the worksheet. That is what we're talking about, right? So you have to ensure that you got to do the thing, learn from the textbook. So coupled with what I'm doing with you, your live worksheets, your Schoology, your textbook, everything is important. Everything, it needs to be a part of your preparation going forward. So I'm going through past paper questions.
I'm not sure you talk too much now. Time ago.
All right.
Carefully, I did my teacher.
Thank you very much, the clock lady. She's a clock lady, that one. All right. So let's just move on. Yeah, I understand, Keisha. I understand. I'm trying to cover as much question as possible. I'm trying to do, right? All right. Now we're going to this one now, simultaneous equation. Now, for the simultaneous equation, this can be solved in various different ways. You can solve it using a graph paper. Or, graph, yes. The idea of the simultaneous equation, and I will teach this in a different class. Please know that during this Easter other days, we'll be having morning classes. I'll be streaming in the morning, go straight back. So if you're at work, you can log on to the YouTube channel and watch the stream. If you're at home enjoying the other day, log on to the YouTube channel, watch the stream. But that is the time when I will finish it.
Sir, so you know I could come in for Easter.
Those who can join the Zoom, of course, can join the Zoom. But just say it.
That's cool, me at that, bro.
For the marathon.
No, me not coming. I'm sorry.
What do you mean?
Sir, after we made the agreement, or you
No, the agreement, Aquila, so I want to do it online.
I want to not be like a girl later.
All right. Man, Aquila here, you don't know if she's watching. All right, so we're going to the algebra question, and that is saying 2x plus y, or it's rather it's 2x, not 2y, but 2x plus y. Just rewriting for those who are watching on YouTube so you can see it better. So 2x plus y is equal to 3, and the other equation is 5x minus 2y, which is equal to 12. This is called a simultaneous equation. Now, what's the aim of this? The aim is to try to ensure that we must find the value of x and y. When we find the value of x and y, we'll use the substitution method, plug it into both equations, and see if we get by the same results. If you get by the same results, it means that your answers are your pair. The solution set is correct. Now, how do we find the solution set? Using the elimination method. And let's just look at it. And the graphical method is an easy one. I'll show it at another time. All right. Now, what we first need to do is to ensure that the coefficients of either the x variable or the y variable is the same. That's the aim. The aim is to ensure that the coefficient of the x variable and the y variable is the same. Right? How do we do that is the question. Pay attention to how it is done. Now, if you look at the y variable, the coefficient in equation 1 is 1. Yes. When there's not a number beside it, there's an imaginary one. There's 1. So if you think that it's easier to make this 2, then you get rid of the y first. All right? So let's just rewrite that. So we're going to rewrite it as 2x. No, that's not right. Now,
Exactly.
to make it become 2, they have to multiply the entire equation by 2. Right. So 2 times 2x becomes 4x plus 2 times y. So no y is as 2. Then 2 times 3 is 6. So that now we have converted this by multiplying by 2. So we write back the equation. And yes.
They automatically cancels out.
Yes, you will see that now. You will see that. So you draw your line. Now you're going to add them. Because if you subtract, you will end up making this be positive, but you don't want that. You want the value of the middle, this part right here. You want this, the value of right here becomes 0. That's the idea. You want the value of this part here become 0. All right. So let us undo that part. Good. So we're going to add them. So 4 plus 5 is what? 9x. Plus 2y minus 2y when you get 0. Remember now, positive 5 plus negative 5 when you get 0. Positive 4 minus 4 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. 6 minus 6 is 0. So 2y minus 2y must be 0 too. They were minus, so we're adding now 6 plus 12 is what? 18.
Divide by 9.
Oh, so what do you do in the class? I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna say so and so. No, you see what I work easy now. It a work easy now. Is it now? Is it now? You stop choir now. Okay. No, it worked. That's all I wanted. I don't want y'all wonder. It was just look and know. Boom. X must equal 2. That's what I want. So Kimberly to work. All right. For those who trying to understand the conversation between me and Kimberly right here, we are saying that when you want to reach right here, you must know what the 9x expression means. The 9x expression means 9 times a number x. What number could multiply by 9 to give me 18? Must be 2. So right there and then, x equal 2. Simple. How we get that? We divide 18 by 9. All right. So now you know the value of one of them. You want to know the value of y now. To get the value of y, you're going to substitute the value of x in one of the 2 equations at the top. So let us then choose maybe this one, the first one, which is what? 2x plus y equal 3. So the value of x is 2. 2x, the expression 2x means 2 times x.
No,
So
the second one. Use the second one, please.
No. You use the easier one of the 2. So I'm going to use the easier one of the 2. So 2x plus y is equal to 3. 2 2 is 4 plus y is equal to 3. So what value could y be that when added to 4 gives us the number 3? Anybody want to answer that?
Sir, repeat.
Well, I don't need to repeat. Just look at the question and tell me what y is. Look at this part now and tell me what y is.
1.
Positive or negative?
Negative.
Good.
Negative.
Simple.
Eh.
Simple. So y is equal to negative 1. So Indra, the person who that cussed me the other day. Sir, how you know write it off? La, 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 la. That's
Me
what
a
you
the
write.
my way come quicker than you. So you teach.
Oh, you're quicker than me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, so here we go now, right? So here we go now. So 2, so all you write your answer for it is like this. Bracket 2, negative 1. The x value, negative 1, the y value. In another session, I'll teach you how to use the graph method.
The graph, sir.
Yeah, the graph to make it more
Show the
easy.
y and the x.
Yes, good. So the value for this one is 2, negative 1. All right. Now, just to make it known to everybody who's in Zoom here, for my CDP Lab students, please note that this is the only Sunday that I will be streaming your class. The live stream video is supposed to go through the week and use your Sunday for your regular live worksheets, activities. But remember though that I'm begging you to push yourself. Once I push out a past paper set of questions in the workbook that says possible questions, please to do it before the class. So we don't have to waste time. I will only focus on correcting what was wrong. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Kimura, let's say everyone, especially those who are doing the exams, Miss Evans. Is that clear to everyone?
Sir, no come my name like me in your WhatsApp.
No, you're not. You don't have access to the live worksheets, Kimberly. All right, you have to do something. You have to do something to have access, right, Indra?
Sir.
I'm money.
Tuesday, me
Okay, let's move on. Time is going. As Indra would say, time ago. All right, let's go. All right, so we're wrapping up the algebra. Wrap up the algebra component, and the parents want to go to bed, have work to go tomorrow, and school tomorrow. So we're wrapping up. All right. So we're going to part C now. Can somebody read part C for me, please?
The table below shows corresponding values of the variables x and y, where y varies directly as x.
All right, very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Now, the statement y varies directly as x is sometimes referred to as directly proportional to, which really means as one increases, the other also increases. But there's a multiplying factor called a constant. So you really want to find the constant. So we normally say y is equal to the constant k times the variable x. We know the value, so we can use this as an example. The value of y is 3. We don't know the constant k, but we know the value of x is 6. So now we want to find the value of k. So we can rewrite it whichever way you feel more comfortable. I feel comfortable by saying 6k is equal to 3. What value could k be to multiply by 6 to give you 3? Anyone?
Repeat.
What value could k be? What value could k be? when multiplied by 6 to give you 3.
So that is the formula.
This is the, yeah, you could use this when doing directly proportional. Yeah.
Zero point 0.5.
0.5, and 0.5 is the same thing as
Half.
half. So K is equal to
Half.
yes. So the 3 divided by 6 is going to be 0.5 or a half in a class. All right? Or a half. Same thing. Good. So now, so half of 10 is 5. So the value of u is 5. What's the value of t? If y is equal to 9, what would the value of t be equal to? Let's say we're using a common sense.
I don't know why you just get that one day where you can bring that up.
All right, we'll get the half by then the only way you can get 3 is if it is half of 6 equal 3, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So 6 times a half, yes, 3. So we know that half of 10 then is 5. So u is 5. That's the trend. Half of 6, half of x is 3. Half of any x value is going to give you the answer for y. So half of x, 6 is 3. Half of 10 must be 5. But this time they give us 9, they give us the value of y, and ask us to find the value of x. So what's the question? What's the answer then? What is the value of x in this case? What is t? Anybody from YouTube can answer as well. What's the value of t? Right?
So wait, K at a half down.
K is a half. Yeah, K is a constant.
Oh. And then I answer to find X.
The response come in. Let's say, no, that's not right.
Sure, because they say that is a half, but when I say
18.
because if y,
Yeah, but remember now, let's say. I got the answer, Kimberly, yes. Remember now, half of the half of the x values will give us the y value. See that? See there? Half, this is see there, y is equal to half of the x values, half x.
all right, sorry,
Uh-huh.
is y equal to 3?
In the case of the first one. But half of 6 is 3. Half of x, which is 6, is 3. Half of 10 is 5, which is a y value. But they give us the y value now, which is 9. So you should be asking the question.
Is equal to 18?
18, exactly. Half of what number will give me 9? Must be 18. So you have to reason it out. You have to talk it out. Talk it out.
No,
all right?
like that.
Good. All right, well done, Kimberly. And of course, well done, Javon. Your answer is indeed correct. T is equal to 18. Well done. So you have to practice on these type of questions. All right. With Google worksheets that based on direct and inverse proportion. Don't only look on direct alone, because sometimes the exam might come with inverse proportion. All right. All right. So we're wrapping up. 8 minutes left, and then we have to cut it off at 10 o'clock. All right, let's move on. So now we're at question number 4. We have one more question to do after question number 4. So it's supposed to go through 5 questions tonight out of 10 questions. So 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 far we look at some algebra questions. You can go and make up some for yourselves, and you can go and practice from your textbook. I implore you to go word to wise is sufficient. All right. Now, so we're gonna go back up now. So number 4 says, can somebody read question number 4 for me, please?
The diagram below on a joint scale shows a silver box with no lid. The sides and the bottom of the box are 1.5 centimeters thick. Calculate the volume of the box using the external measurement.
All right, this is easy. When you find the volume of such a solid, what are you going to do? Anybody?
Can I repeat?
When you're going to find the volume of a solid looking like this, what's the easiest thing to do?
Add up everything.
Add up? I don't add up.
You use a formula. Okay.
You multiply.
You multiply. Yes, let's say multiply everything. All right. Remember the formula. The formula is actually given, but just know that you multiply everything and come onto the box. All right. But the formula for volume is, of course, area of the base times its perpendicular height. So, but multiply everything. 30 times 20 times 15. You write that down, jump into your calculator. 30 times 20 times 15. Make sure you have working calculators now, please. 9,000 cubic centimeters. That's the answer. Right? That was clear. And please, I know that my students from CDP Labs has been doing measurements from early out. We try to push that out of the way. You have to practice, mates. Perfect. Now we're coming up to the tough question. The tough part of this. I don't think, Lexi, you and I don't like this question, right, Lexi? And then remember,
Yes.
a similar question come last year. Is it? Exactly. All right, so watch this now. Here we go. Complete each of the following statements. One is a 1 mark. It's an easy question, but don't underestimate it because if it was 1 mark. Now they tell you that the internal length of the box is 30 centimeters minus 2 times 1.5 centimeters. But remember the rule is, no, what's the rule? The rule said you have to multiply first. Good. Now, where does 2 come from is the question. Yes, Kimberly, we all hate it. All right. Now, we have to follow, they give an example, you know. So you have to work with the example and give it. Is that 2 a constant? Let's go back to the figure. They told us is 1.5 thick. But they say it's 2 times it. So you have to work with whatever they do at the beginning. So this is basically where they say 30 minus 3. Because 2 times 1.5 is 3. Therefore, the value right there so is 27. Good. So the internal width, without, let's say, it's naturally going to be. So of course, this is the length, then this must be the width. 20 minus CM3. Good. So what's the answer for that?
What minus what?
20 minus 3.
Oh, you get 27.
Because 2 times 1 point.
Why 3?
No, because they're always going to multiply 2 times 1.5. That's why the mark is simple. 2 marks. To find the internal width now, you have to know identify that 27 is the width. Let me see. You have to identify that 20 centimeter is the width. You understand? Remember, say it is 1.5 centimeter thick. Good. And it's 2 sides. 2 sides. Therefore, you're going to have to multiply the 1.5 by 2 all the time. Make sense?
Oh,
Follow
yes, sir.
the pattern. And basically give away this mark. Then follow the pattern and give it.
How many years is that about 3?
So 20 minus 3 then give you 17. 20 minus 3 then give you 17. That is 20.
Sir, all I know, I don't get this one. Oh, like.
Yeah, me too. I swear.
Alright.
Measure
No, hold on.
for the people, I'm gonna.
No. You can't do that. That don't make any sense.
Oh, sir, I know where you get it. I'm tell you where you get it. You say 2 times 1.5, take away the 30, and say you get a 25, right?
27.
27 mean.
And because on the picture now, the width was 20. So I write back 20 here. Minus the same 2 times 1.5. Is the same thickness all go around, you know? The same thickness go around, that not change.
Oh.
You understand? The sides and the bottom of the box are 1.5.
So how we even know the internal depth of the box is?
Because the internal width, remember, you know, it have 2 sides to it, you know. So it have a minus. All right, let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. 1 second.
Sir, one of them day, I forgot to show me this, because I don't like them something.
All right. Wait, hold on. Pay attention to this. No, just pay attention to this, please. You realize that there's a corner here and a corner here, don't it?
Yes, sir.
How much corner there? Now, 2 of them?
Yeah.
So if you minus them 2 corner, you forget the actual length of this. It's like you cut off 2 pieces, but each piece are 1.5 thick. That's why you have to maintain that 1.5. Follow?
Yes, sir.
But they give you a pattern to start off with, and that is what you have to pay attention to the pattern that they give you to start off with. You have to pay attention to the pattern that they give you to start off with. So them tell you. So you follow the pattern and them give you. So you have to pay attention to the clues in the exam. The examiner gives you clues. So the width, the external width minus 3 is going to give us the internal width, which is 17 in this case. So this is 27 up here and 17 there. The internal depth is 15 centimeters minus 3. Erase and give you 1 mark this time because I'm expecting to catch a hang of it. You see now? So you can look at the mark distribution and see the idea. So 15 minus 3. And therefore the answer is what? 12. All right? So we're going to pause after the last part of this question. I'll pick it up in the stream tomorrow, Tuesday evening. Those persons can join me, who can join me in Zoom, join me in Zoom. And those who will join us live on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the YouTube channel. All right. So let's see what the latter part of the question is going to ask us for. So please write these numbers down quickly, 27, 17, and 12. Write it down for me, please, 27, 17, and 12. Wrote it down already? Wrote it down? So I'm going to write it down. Let's continue. Let's go. So we're going to wrap it up now. Wrapping it up right here. Let's see what comes after that. Okay, so we will end. So we have gone through 4 questions out of 5. Not bad for tonight, right? So I can't get a value, the internal.
Like, that's all they just click. I'm eating them things.
I didn't hear that. So you're going to multiply, use the numbers you got earlier, and 27 times 17 times 12. So I told you to write it down because I knew they were going to ask you that part of it. That is 5,508. So now we're going to, this is equal to 5,508. 2 marks. Very easy. Cubic centimeters as well. Now, the box is made up of silver, which has a mass of 10.5 grams for each cubic centimeters. Calculate the mass of the silver box, giving your answer in kilograms. Right. So the box is made up of silver, which has a mass of 10.5 grams for each cubic centimeter. Now you have to find the difference in the two values. First of all right, to know. So you minus that from that. And I promise, just remind me in the next class to show you how I come up with the idea of subtracting. You really want to find out what the material is made from. So you just look at the internal volume from the external volume. And what is left is actually material itself, right? So then 9,000 then minus 5,508. The answer to get, which is 3,492. Then that answer now will be divided by 10.50. And you get your answer for the question. Let's use a calculator and you get the answer. The answer is 332.5 grams, kilogram. Well, this is 0.5 grams, but I want it in kilogram. So if we put it in kilogram, what are we going to do? How do we convert from grams to kilogram? Hello? Divide by 1,000, right? So divide that by 1,000 and you get the answers. Anybody's there? I'm not gonna sleep. That's deep. The answer in kilograms is 0.3 kilograms. 1 decimal place. That's it. Now I'll recap this part of the lesson so that person can get a full understanding early out as to how they arrive at these answers. But this comes to the end of our session. How was tonight's class? Inja, are you there? Kimberly, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm there.
How was tonight's class?
Sir, it was
You
wonderful.
two are new, so I have to ask you first. How was
My live class, but
Yeah.
hold on, Kim.
know,
Okay.
my
Hold on,
live,
Inja.
I
What you say?
always, I bring the energy as always.
Okay then. All right. Inja, what you have to say about that, Inja?
Sir, but you don't know with Kimberly. Cause same thing you talk to me, Kimberly, I catch I feel it. And I say, why you talk to Inja? But I like that. We can't do that.
When I was shady and I met these guys on my back, I don't like that.
Oh, okay. All right. No problem. No problem.
Cut me out.
All right. No, don't worry yourself about it. All right. So I know that my other students normally they would have enjoyed the class. I saw your message, Miss Evans. But here's a response. I'm going to recap it. You can always go back to the video. When I resume the class, this time we're going to make that solid. So I want persons to come with their scissors, their paper, and their pencil, their ruler, so we can redraw that solid.
So when Tuesday?
Tuesday night. So please remind me that I'm going to redo that part of the question. I'm going to start off with question number 4, and then we go straight into question number 5, and then we'll pick up the other 5 questions to close that past paper itself. So I want to say a special thanks to those students who joined us tonight, those persons who were absent from the CDP Labs group of students. Then you know you can always go back to the YouTube channel and get.
All right, sir. Nice having class with you guys.
Oh, very good.
How are these?
Right, Kimura and company that I've heard that from Inja and Kimberly. They're in my class at Holy Trinity High School. And they have done well last year in their CSEC.
Sir, Stanisha Gani, sir, why haven't you been there?
Yes, they did very well. I think Inja got what, 5, 6 subjects? 5 subjects, yeah? And Kimberly now has 7 subjects, so she has passed her biology in January. So congratulations again, Kimberly. You now have 7 subjects. Well done. Yes, it's Holy Trinity. I'm big up Holy Trinity, of course.
Thank you.
Yes, and I want to say congratulations to St. Diego on behalf of Kimura. Yes, did very well. And
Big
so
school,
forth.
Latino. Bop.
Yeah, like Kimura, big school. Well, the biggest school there is. Watch out. All right, good. All right, and Lexi's telling you congrats as well. Lexi did very well in her exams last year as well. And she's at what school again? Is it what's the name of the school again, Lexi?
Congrats to you, Lexi.
Which Morant Bay High. All right.
So far,
So,
am I way Latino, sir, until I.
oh, Lexi, Kimberly says her way that, her direction that. Oh, never see smoke without fire. You are the one, the sweet. Okay. All right. All right. And I also want to say a special thanks to Javon Barrett, who participated in his, I guess this is his first time with us, and very good. And I must say good night again to Makeda, who jumped on to the YouTube channel. And of course, Sister Tanisha, good night to you again. So it's good night to you all. Mr. Bernard has to retire now. He has work to do for tomorrow. And of course, it was a pleasure teaching you. No. So finally, just the final recommendations. The textbook is very important. Those students who follow instructions and do go working with the textbook never fail CXC maths. So I'm telling you, if you tonight you would have bucked up on the algebra and measurements, you need them to practice on exercises in algebra and measurements. So that is what you're going to be paying attention to. When you come to the line, where you know you buck your foot, that's where you're going to take up the textbook and those topics and practice. What do I call practice? If an exercise have 1,000,000 questions, you must do the 1,000,000 questions. One shot, that's not practice. That's it. Have yourselves a good night. Take care. Have fun.
So of your test Thursday.
Thursday. Oh, so we still have a good time, right?
Paper 1 and 2.
I say, exam condition.
All right, so Lexi's saying good night to you all. Yes, good night, Lexi.
Good night.
Right? Back, I don't want to keep my phone.